We're taking a peek into geek culture and sharing our top 10 fandom favorites. Let Your Geek Side Show presents Geek Culture Countdown. Hey guys, this is Kitty.
And it's Susan.
And welcome back to the Geek Culture Countdown. So, on November 12th, the world lost a comic book legend when Stan Lee passed away. And although this was a deeply sad loss, we as pop culture fans can't help but celebrate the legacy that he put into place through his work at Marvel and in the realm of pop culture overall. Known to most as the king of cameos, Stan's larger-than-life personality will live on in countless works of Marvel comics, film, and more. So he truly became a part of the worlds that he created. And so in honor of Stan the Man, today we are counting down our top 10 Stan Lee cameos.
To be honest, like one of the weird ways that it occurred to me that Stan Lee was not going to be with us forever, because to me he's immortal. Like he's still alive. We still can pick up his work and his influence everywhere in our culture. But one of the ways I became very aware of his mortality was when there was that news break that like he's filming a whole bunch of cameos. And I was like, why would he need to film a whole bunch of cameos? Like, he's immortal. We all know that. And yeah, I'm right. He is. And in a way.
Yeah, he will be immortalized through all of these things that he did. And I saw countless people posted it online, but they said, like, truly his greatest cameo was in our lives. Yeah. So, but for this list and for our pop culture purposes, we did want to take a look at the various funny or heartfelt or just absolutely bizarre appearances he has made, mostly in Marvel movies. I will admit there's a couple on this list that are not Marvel films, but just everywhere you go, you see Stan Lee's influence on the world of comic books and superheroes in general.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, we're going to get started. Number 10 on our list is his cameo in Avengers: Age of Ultron. Now, before he passed, he did note that this was one of his favorite cameos that he ever did. And when asked,
so fun.
But when asked why, he said it was because he did 2 different scenes for it, so it was the one that had the most screen time.
Oh.
So this is it takes place at the party in Tony Stark's pad.
Yeah, Avengers Tower,
whatever it was. I
think
even remember
it's Avengers Tower at that point. It is. It has to be.
And so, of course, you've got Thor and Steve Rogers, and they're just kind of talking it out over the party. And of course, Thor is boasting that he's got a flask of booze that's stronger than anything a mortal could handle. And Stan Lee is playing a war veteran, and he says it's nothing scarier than the Omaha beaches. I can handle it. Give me some. That wasn't the exact quote, obviously, but in the general gist
that's
of the
exactly
scene.
What he said in the scene. I can handle it. Give me some.
Basically. And so Thor says, okay, I'll give you some. And then that one does have the payoff in a later scene where Stan is being drunkenly escorted out of the party, slurring his famous catchphrase, Excelsior. So number 10 is Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Now, since I'm not looking at the list, number 9, I believe, is Big Hero 6.
Yes.
Okay. This was one of my personal picks for the top 10 cameos, mostly because it's a little bit different than a lot of the other cameos we see. Yes, we do see Stan and hear Stan, but it is an animated movie. Disney's Big Hero 6 is based on the comic book of the same name. However, it's not one that Stan himself created or had a hand in, but it is part of Marvel Comics. So
yeah, very, very not well known.
Yeah, but it's so much fun. And I was so in love with the movie when the movie came out. And I was just like, oh yeah, it's a Marvel comic, but like I bet because it's Disney, it's not going to, Stan Lee's not going to be in it.
Is there nothing that Stan Lee won't appear in?
Exactly. And this is one of those examples. In an after credits sequence, Stan appears as the likeness and the voice of Fred's father. You see his portrait earlier in the film, so there was kind of like oh, that's cute, like a hint that, okay, I guess that's the cameo that we're going to get. Portrait, cameo, got it?
Yes.
Yeah? See, I can kitty. Anyway.
Oh, no, I'm a verb.
I know. But later, it was very cool to hear Stan actually put a voice to the father and talk about all the things they have in common, like
how you wear your underwear.
Yep. So it's just a fun cameo that Stan is so well known for. So that's why it made our list at number 9.
And I just want to say, I mean, we're only 2 in, and while it is a very sad occasion on which we decided to do this podcast, I mean, you can already tell the joy we get recounting some of these. And there's some of them that are a little more heartfelt on this list, but just generally you get that spirit and that joy. And so this isn't, obviously, I don't think Stan would want us to be sad at all about this. He would want us to be laughing and celebrating all of his
I like using the
shameless self-appearances.
That's why I like using the word celebrate his life, because it's just so much better, and that's what we're really doing and will continue to do.
Yeah. So number 8 on our list is actually one of the more recent cameos, and it is another voice cameo. It is from the Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game. So this does happen fairly early in the game, so if you are one of the few people out there who has not actually gotten their hands on this game or gone through much of it, this isn't too big of a spoiler, but you do see very early on a very well-written scene of Peter and MJ talking in a little cafe, and they're sharing their favorite fries in the city, but they're talking it out over their relationship. And as Peter has to go and be Spider-Man, and MJ is like, you know what, saved by the siren, go save the city. You see the short order cook of the restaurant, who is Stan Lee, and he says, "It's so nice to see you two back together. You always were my favorites." And so that was a really cool one, because a lot of times he is talking to his characters in some of these cameos, but like really just that put him in the world and gives the New York that the Marvel games have built there for Spider-Man. Just it gives it a sense of the Marvel New York. Yeah.
But also to me, like,
but it's
he
also
loved
meta.
Spider-Man so much. It was meta enough for him to be like, you guys were all, like, because he liked having MJ and Peter together.
Yeah.
That's something that was clearly personal to him, and it was cool to see that moment in the game.
Yeah, and
or
the animation,
to watch the YouTube video of that moment in the game.
Yeah, and the animation is like, it looks like a video footage of Stan Lee. Like, it's just really cool. And so that was a fun little moment that they got to put into a game that really captures the entire scope of Marvel's New York, which is really fun to see.
Totally.
So if you haven't played the game, definitely go look up that scene.
Or just go like swing around the city and then get to that point.
Yeah, because it is pretty early in the game.
Because I just swing around the city. Just saying.
All right, so number 8 on our list is Spider-Man PlayStation 4.
Number 7 on our list is because I can't do this list if I don't put the Doctor Strange cameo on there. So in Doctor Strange, Stan Lee is seen sitting on a bus reading Aldous. I'm like, Aldous Huxley is a name I've never been able to say, because I always say Aldous Huxley, because like the accent. Anyway, this isn't what this is about. He's reading The Doors of Perception, and he's laughing what he's reading, and it's happening while literally the universe is turning around him, because Doctor Strange and Baron Mordo are fighting.
Baron Mordo?
I'm so good at Doctor Strange today. You have no idea.
I put this one on the list for you.
I know. Oh my
Baron
God.
Mordo.
I can talk.
Baron Modoc.
Yep. They're all a thing.
And this seems to be another style of his cameo. There's either he says a funny one-liner about like being aware of the scene, or he is totally oblivious of what's happening.
Yep, and I liked that. This was my favorite of the oblivious ones. And he's on a bus a lot.
Yeah.
It's like a thing. Anyway, just saying. Number 7 is Doctor Strange with those characters and the book I mentioned. And also Stan Lee.
Number 6 is The Avengers. This cameo does come towards the very end of the film. And I think it just deserves to be up there because his line is "Superheroes in New York, give me a break." And this was the first movie of its caliber to unite so many superheroes all together, and then just to have Stan Lee himself have a funny, dismissive line about the fact that having multiple superheroes all together
in New York
just seems so out of line. It's just a really fun moment. And the Avengers film actually does have a second Stan Lee cameo that was in the deleted scenes. I think it was intended to be used instead of the one that's actually in the film. Where Steve Rogers is at a cafe, Beth the waitress is kind of flirting with him, and then Stan turns back and says, "Ask for her number, you moron." And so there was a second Stan Lee cameo in the film, didn't make the cut, but I still just think the one that is in the film is very fun and indicative of just what that movie accomplished and what
totally.
Stan's world was able to accomplish as well.
I agree.
So number 6 on our list is The Avengers. So now we've got an honorable mention, and I really wanted this to be an honorable mention because
Kitty can't get away from...
if you're following our podcast continuity, you know that I always have to mention the Teen Titans, even in a Marvel-themed podcast. So our honorable mention goes to Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which is another of the more recent ones. And this film, if you didn't see it, I adored it. Regardless of your feelings on the Teen Titans Go reboot itself, this film came for every aspect of superhero, comic book, television, films, mythology. Just every aspect of it gets lampooned mercilessly, but with good fun and humor. And so, of course, there's a scene where Stan Lee is first you see him kind of dancing in the background, and then a big like little sign like points at him and is like do do do. And then when the Teen Titans walk away, he introduces himself and he's like, "I'm Stan Lee and I love doing cameos." Da 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 da. And someone comes by. They're on the Warner Brothers Studios lot, and someone comes by to inform him, "Mr. Lee, this is a DC film." And he goes, "I gotta get out of here." And then he comes back later and says, "You know what? I don't care it's a DC film. I just love doing cameos." And then, of course, he gets his Excelsior line in there. So this one just kind of, like, it made fun of his cameos, but in, like, the best way possible. And it is his only cameo in a DC work to date. So
that's really cool. Yeah,
so it's a really funny thing. And, of course, it's like, okay, if they're going after everything in the superhero genre, they're going to have to talk about Stan Lee cameos. And this one was just... It was gratuitous, it was hilarious, and it was in really, really good fun. So our honorable mention is Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Awesome. Well, number 5 on our list is not a Marvel movie.
Ooh!
I guess we already had like a video game.
We had a video game and a DC film.
DC, and then Disney. Well, Marvel, Disney. Anyway, so number 5 is Mallrats. Because this is a really fun cameo. Stan Lee gets to kind of talk about things he's learned. You also see Mallrats, both of the characters in the movie, the main characters, but especially Jason Lee's character, are huge comic book geeks. And so to have Jason Lee's character be advised by Stan the man himself was kind of a big plot point in the movie.
And this cameo kind of really... I mean, it really takes place before the Disney age of propriety and the fact that all these cameos are fun and clean and family friendly.
Yeah, but this one is not family friendly. In fact, I was a little surprised it was on the list because I was like, "Do you really want me to tell you what he was talking about in that cameo?"
I think a lot of people do love this one because it goes there.
It goes there, but also Stan Lee addresses that it goes there. So there's like 2 separate scenes. One is that he is advising Jason Lee's character on Brody, on his love life. And Jason Lee's character can't stop asking him about the love lives of other characters in Marvel comic books, like Mr. Fantastic or The Thing. Not going to get into what he asks about them. Go watch the movie.
You can Google that at home.
But he asks about their love lives, and Stan Lee kind of brushes it aside to give him some almost fatherly advice. Then later, it is revealed that Stan Lee was paid off by Brody's best friend to give him this advice because he thought that no one, like that Brody wouldn't listen to anyone except him. And then Stan Lee says to his friend, you might want to like talk to your friend about how obsessed he is with the love lives of superheroes. So that's why I made the list, because again,
the biggest of air quotes around love lives.
And it's, again, this is just a fun, lighthearted Stan Lee cameo.
Which you couldn't get away with today.
No, I also just like to think about the fact that Michael Rooker is also in Mallrats and like what a role he wound up taking in a couple of the Marvel movies as well.
I mean, and that's really cool because it just shows the scope of Stan's legacy and how it only flourished and how all of this is gonna stand the test of time and just
totally.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was.
Oh no, Michael Rooker's in that movie again in a mildly inappropriate role.
I would expect nothing less.
of Mallrats. Anyway, number 5 is Mallrats.
Number 4 on our list is Captain America: Civil War. So actually, a couple of the Captain America film cameos are really great. There's the one where he's the security guard and the suit goes missing, but this one, especially in the midst of a film that was such drama and tension, but also balanced with humor, watching all the superheroes fight each other and having some dangerous things happen to characters like Rhodey. This was a fun moment of breaking the tension when Stan Lee comes to the door. He is I don't know what company he's working.
I think it's fake.
It's just like a
FedEx.
Yeah, like a fake
like
Federal
fake.
Express delivery man, and he is seeking a Mr. Tony Stank.
Yep, that's him. Thank you for that. I love the thank you for that, because Rhodey was having a particularly tough physical therapy session.
Yeah, and so just a moment of tension like that, where you also see these characters that at this point they seem so monolithic, and it's like how could you take down the ego of characters like Tony Stark a peg in this film where it's so
high stakes.
Yeah, high stakes, and so that was really fun. It also felt like a really relatable moment in terms of people who go to get coffee and the barista writes their name down wrong or something like that.
It also to me was a really good friendship moment, because if someone called you a weird pronunciation of your name, I would absolutely be like, yep, that's her name,
and that would be my name forever.
Cataline, yep, that's her.
But this one's also fun because it gets referenced in a later cameo on our list. So you'll have to stay tuned and listen to find out what the heck that could mean. So number 4 on our list is Captain America: Civil War.
We're at 3. Wow, we're
Yeah.
at 3.
We're flying through this list.
3 on our list is Thor Ragnarok. Lee appears as the servant to the Grand Master on Sakaar, who has to do the unspeakable act of cutting Thor's luxurious mane.
I knew this one had to go up on the list. It was very requested among our office mates, but this one hurts me because I like Thor's long hair the best.
And I like Thor's short hair. I know, I'm sorry. But
now I know who to blame.
Yep. You have Stan himself to blame. So before he does go ahead and cut that hair, he says that his hands aren't as steady as they used to be, and then you hear kind of screaming.
Well, Thor's
like, ah!
Thor's like, please don't cut my hair,
I
please
know.
don't. It's the most you see Thor go from this grand and brash warrior to please don't cut my hair.
It's pretty great. And then I like that if you look at Thor's short hair, he does have those weird buzz lines on the one side. And I think it's because Stan's cutting was not the best. So number 3 on our list is Stan Lee as the Grandmaster's servant in Thor Ragnarok.
All right. Number 2 on our list does come from a film that does polarize a lot of the fans. This is the Spider-Man 3 cameo. And honestly, I don't think this would have been as high on the list, except for the fact that I saw it quoted quite a lot in the week of Stan's passing. And it really did bring back the idea that, okay, whatever you think of Spider-Man 3 and the funny dance sequence and V and all that, this line is one of the more heartwarming exchanges. It's another one where Stan gets to kind of confront one of the characters and icons he's created. And so after Spider-Man has saved the city in some fashion, there's billboards in Times Square that are flashing thank you, Spider-Man, and there's a little marquee. So Spider-Man stops to look at that and see what they're saying about him. Or Peter Parker, actually, not in the Spider-Man suit. But Stan walks up to him and he says, I guess one person can make a difference. And then they kind of share a moment of eye contact and he goes, "Enough said." And then he walks away. And it's just that kind of perfectly encapsulates and I want to say it does encapsulate a lot of Lee's legacy, but I don't want to also detract from his collaborators like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. Mm-hmm. But the idea behind all of these heroes, and especially Peter Parker, just the idea that one person can make a difference. Yeah. And because all of his heroes, at the end of the day, he was like, yeah, they're super and they have powers, but they do what any normal person would do in these situations.
And in a lot of situations, they are the normal person. Peter Parker is the normal person. So is Steve Rogers. Mm-hmm. So I mean, Tony Stark's a different version of normal, but he's just normal from a different type of family. Like, every one of Stan's characters, if you're talking about a legacy, is a person that is very relatable, and that's what it comes down to. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers herself, Doctor Strange, like, they're all people. We know people who are doctors. We know soldiers. We know pilots. Like, we know these people. And the idea that one day they stepped up and said, yes, I can make a difference, is what inspires all of us to do the same thing. And why each one of us has a character that they hold on to, that he created, that Jack Kirby created, that Steve Ditko created. That's what his legacy is.
Yeah. So as he says in the cameo, enough said. I think Spider-Man 3 is the clear choice for number 2 on our list.
Yeah. Wow. So number 1.
Wow, I think we should just cut it there.
I know, right? Wow. But number 1, was kind of, I feel like number 1 is the cameo that was everyone wanted for so long.
I think where number 2 is hits the emotional part. This hits just
the fan, like the galaxy of fans that he's created. This is
the whole meta of
So in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Stan Lee appears as an informant to the Watchers, and I remember specifically like screaming. Because I'd been wanting the Watchers for so long, and so many of us as fans had theories on how the Watchers were gonna get integrated into the MCU,
and how Stan could keep cameoing in all these different films all over the place.
Yeah, and the Watchers came to us via a Stan Lee cameo, and it referenced dun 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 Tony Stank. Because
it also comes in the middle of such a whiplash moment where it's Yondu and Rocket and Groot
jumping through.
They're jumping through hyperspace and
to try to find Ego, the living planet. You know, so it's like,
and so you're already going for such a whiplash ride as the viewer. And then to be smacked with the Watchers.
Yeah, but to me, like, that was so comic book. Like it was reading a comic book. Like, you just see the jumps and the weirdness and the panels where their faces are going crazy. And then you see the panel with the Watchers.
And I can almost see the little yellow editor's box with the asterisk where Stan's like, before I was so rudely interrupted, I was telling you about the time I was a Federal Express agent.
Yeah.
You could just see the little editor's box that says, see Captain America Civil War for more, like,
that
totally. That classic, like,
it was so,
Marvel bullpen.
It was so comic book. And the Watchers are such an important part of the galaxy that is Marvel Comics, that of course, why would they have been introduced in any other way? Like, now that you think about it, of course they came in the form of a Stan Lee cameo. Of course, Stan Lee's character is an informant to the Watchers and has been since the beginning of the MCU. So that was a pretty cool cameo to be able to say is our number 1 Stan Lee cameo on the list.
Yeah.
He's also apparently, he's also in 2 scenes of Guardians also.
Oh, yeah?
Because he's in the Inferno at the end. Oh. Guardians Inferno.
Oh, that's right. Who could forget Guardians Inferno?
You know, that classic song.
Hey, it's actually a really good song.
And it's David Hasselhoff.
Zardu Hasselfrau.
Yeah. Zardu Hasselfrau. Anyway.
Yeah, but that I think is just, that is the top. And so many people for so long had that fan theory, like, what if Stan Lee, like, what if he is the Watcher?
Yeah.
Like, and I think it was better that he wasn't the Watcher.
Yeah.
Because he's Stan Lee.
Yeah.
And he has influenced every one of these worlds. And of course that's just.
And I'm gonna go back and like tear everybody's heartstrings when Captain Marvel and Avengers 4.
Oh.
And having to see they have said that he did film for Avengers 4. They haven't said Captain Marvel, but they have said Avengers 4.
Yeah.
So we are gonna have to say goodbye again.
Yeah. But hey, maybe that cameo will
top
jump
the
up
list.
to our list.
And also, I am so not looking forward to seeing the in memory of. I'm gonna cry.
That's gonna be the most heartbreaking cameo of all.
So,
but hey, we can go back and watch all the funny ones that did make us laugh throughout this list, and there are
a lot.
I mean, there are dozens upon dozens. I mean, every single Marvel film, all the Netflix shows, all the television series, all these works that aren't Marvel.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for DC, it's only in Teen Titans.
Yeah, I mean, he did the X-Men, so you have some Fox movies to go back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to recap our list, I mean, we could keep going, but we would be here for hours.
And we got tickets to a movie later.
So to recap our list, the honorable mention is Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Number 10 is his cameo in Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 9 is Big Hero 6. Number 8 is Spider-Man PlayStation 4. Number 7 is Doctor Strange. Number 6 is The Avengers. Number 5 is Mallrats. Number 4 is Captain America Civil War. Number 3 is Thor Ragnarok. Number 2 is Spider-Man 3. And number 1 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Ooh, that was a little confusing. Yeah. 2 was Spider-Man 3 and 1 was Volume 2. Anyways,
we're good at lists.
Ooh, that's a good watch list to go back over and just relive all the magic and the fun of seeing Stan in all of these instances. So, true believers, we want to hear from you. If we missed one of the many Stan Lee cameos throughout the multiverse that you think should be on our list, be sure to check out our blog and tell us your own personal favorites at geeksideshow.com. And that was our top 10 Stan Lee cameos. Excelsior! This has been your Geek Culture Countdown. For more ad-free pop culture news and content, visit geeksideshow.com. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to let your geek side show.